Ted Cruz went on a complete manic tear yesterday during a Senate hearing with the United States Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas. This is Ted Cruz auditioning for Fox News. When Ted Cruz wants to get himself on Fox News, either interviewed or have his clips played, he does these sort of manic scream fests with oversized poster boards behind him, and he certainly pulled out all the stops yesterday. Take a look at this.
And in fact, if you look at illegal immigration, let's look at CBP encounters. You can see 500,000, 500,000, it drops to the lowest level, and boom, what happens? You show up, and that red line is you.
Now, let's talk about that. Couple different things here. They love this. They love to say the number of encounters with Border Patrol went up when Joe Biden became the president. Now, there are two really important things to understand about that. Number one, mobility in general was really, really low during the pandemic. And in fact, you can see that on the chart that Ted Cruz has behind him. What we started to see was, as the pandemic eased and the weather improved, a huge backlog of people who would have tried to cross previously tried to cross the border. But here's the most important thing. When encounters show up on this chart, it's because the people were stopped. The people were stopped. If you are going to argue that the borders are open and people are just going through, you can't defend that by saying, look at all these people stopped by Border Patrol. By definition, that's because the border isn't open.
That red line is Joe Biden. And you're claiming nothing happened. Oh, gosh, this was here before us. No, you made the decision to allow this to happen. Let me ask you, we now have over 5.5 million people who've entered this country illegally under Joe Biden. How many murderers have you released into America?
What?
Senator, I'm not aware of any murderer whom we've...
So you don't know?
Senator, let me say something.
Do you know?
If you take a look at...
No.
And this is Ted Cruz not actually wanting to get answers about anything. This is a performance piece, and a pretty bad one at that.
No, you don't get to give a speech. Do you know how many murderers you've released?
I'm just trying to answer your question.
How many rapists
Senator,
have you released?
Senator, I'm trying to answer your question.
You can answer, I know or I don't know.
Senator, any individual who poses a public safety threat...
How many child molesters have you released?
...and removed into the United States, from the United States.
And this word of releasing is straight out of the Trump playbook. Trump has been insisting, quote, mental institutions are being emptied out and released into the United States. Of course, that's not happening. This is a tryout. This is a performance.
Oh, so your testimony under oath, subject to perjury, is that you have not released any murderers, rapists, or child molesters among the 5.5 million. Is that your testimony?
Mr. Chairman, may I have the opportunity
No, you may not. You may answer my question.
You're not
Is
allowing...
that your testimony, yes or no?
Senator, you're not allowing me to answer your question.
I am allowing you to answer. I'm not allowing you to filibuster.
If you take a look at the pace of immigration in 2018 to 2019...
You're refusing to answer. Let's move on. Let's move on to gotaways.
Yeah. This is not how you learn anything. This is not how you fix anything. This is really nothing. It's not of any value. Here's more of it, of Ted Cruz just losing his mind.
These are modern day leg irons because these are children being sold into sex slavery, and you don't even know what they are. That is astonishing. Mr. Secretary, how many children have been sold into sex slavery under your administration?
Senator, we are taking it to the cartels.
How many children have been sold into sex slavery? Do you know how many children have been...
I mean, how many were sold under Trump? The idea that because the number isn't zero under any administration, that it's this particular individual's fault is absurd.
Sold into sex slavery.
To an unprecedented degree.
Mr. Secretary, I want to say to you right now, your behavior is disgraceful, and the deaths, the children assaulted, the children raped, they are at your feet.
And what about all of the ones under Trump, given that this is a global issue? It's not about minimizing. It's very capricious and arbitrary for Ted Cruz to be indignant when Biden is president, but to never have said anything about the exact same thing under Trump.
If you had integrity, you would resign. And I will tell you, the men and women of the
If Ted Cruz had integrity, he would have resigned.
Border Patrol, they've never had a political leader undermine them. They despise you, Mr. Secretary, because you're willing to let children be raped to follow political orders. This is a crisis. It's a disgrace. And you won't even admit this human tragedy is a crisis.
Claiming 1 minute chairman time, Mr. Secretary, would you like to respond to any of those questions?
What the senator said was revolting. I'm not going to address it.
I mean, it's like, why honestly, why bother? Why bother? This is of no value or meaning. That is Ted Cruz, desperate for relevance, excited about the possibility of being featured in compilations on Fox News of what happened at the hearing, that he is just screaming and doing the sort of Lindsey Graham routine. That's the sort of routine Lindsey Graham, the Republican senator, did during the confirmation hearings of eventual Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Scream and act indignant and be furious at people. And it probably does make it onto Fox News, but we see through it. It's completely pathetic.